Discipline. Almost everyone wants it, but very few people truly understand it. People want to wake up early, build a better body, stay focused, become successful, change their mindset, escape mediocrity. Every year, millions of people promise themselves that this time will be different. They set goals, create plans, watch motivational videos, feel inspired for a few days, but eventually, they fall back into the same habits again, the same distractions, the same laziness, the same excuses, and slowly, they begin losing confidence in themselves. They stop trusting their own words, because deep inside, they know they are capable of more. But they cannot stay consistent long enough to change their life. And the worst part is, most people think the problem is motivation. They believe successful people are simply more motivated than everyone else. But that is not true. Motivation is temporary. It comes and goes like emotion. Some days you feel powerful. Some days you feel tired. Some days you feel inspired. Some days you feel empty. If your future depends on motivation, your future will always remain unstable. Real transformation never comes from motivation. It comes from discipline, from the ability to continue even when you do not feel like continuing. But modern life has made discipline harder than ever before, because the world around you is constantly training your brain to avoid discomfort. Every app, every notification, every short video, every moment of instant pleasure teaches your mind the same dangerous lesson. Choose what feels easy. Avoid what feels difficult. And over time, your brain begins losing its ability to tolerate discomfort. This is why discipline feels impossible for so many people today. Not because they are weak, but because their environment is weakening them every single day without them realizing it. Thousands of years ago, human beings lived very differently. Survival required effort. People had to move constantly, hunt for food, build shelter, protect themselves. Discomfort was normal. Struggle was part of life. And because struggle was unavoidable, people developed mental toughness naturally. But today, the modern world has removed discomfort from almost everything. Food arrives instantly. Entertainment never ends. Technology allows people to escape boredom within seconds. And while comfort may seem harmless, too much comfort slowly weakens the mind. The human brain adapts to whatever lifestyle you repeat every day. If you constantly seek comfort, your tolerance for pain becomes smaller and smaller. Suddenly, simple tasks begin feeling exhausting. Waking up early feels painful. Working out feels impossible. Studying feels stressful. Reading feels boring. Even sitting quietly with your own thoughts becomes uncomfortable, because your brain has been trained to escape difficulty immediately. The moment discomfort appears, people reach for stimulation. They open social media, watch videos, scroll endlessly, and slowly, their ability to focus disappears. This is one of the biggest reasons why modern people struggle with discipline. Their mind has become addicted to convenience, addicted to easy dopamine, addicted to instant pleasure. And when life demands patience, effort, or consistency, they collapse mentally. Because discipline requires discomfort. It requires sacrifice. It requires doing difficult things repeatedly without immediate reward. But modern society trains people to expect rewards instantly. And that mindset destroys long-term growth completely. Most people today no longer control their attention. Algorithms control it for them. Social media companies understand human psychology better than most people understand themselves. Every platform is carefully engineered to keep you addicted for as long as possible. Infinite scrolling, notifications, bright colors, emotional reactions, endless short videos. Every feature is designed to trigger dopamine inside your brain. And dopamine itself is not evil. Dopamine once helped humans survive. It motivated people to explore, hunt, build, and achieve goals. But now, modern technology manipulates that same system against you. Your brain receives more stimulation in one day than ancient humans experienced in weeks. And because of this, normal life begins feeling boring. Deep work becomes difficult. Focus disappears. Patience disappears. People become mentally restless all the time. They constantly crave stimulation without even realizing it. That is why most people cannot sit quietly anymore. They cannot work without checking their phone every few minutes. They cannot focus deeply for long periods of time. Their brain has become addicted to speed. Fast entertainment, fast pleasure, fast distraction, and slowly, real life loses its emotional impact. This is dangerous because every meaningful thing in life is slow. Building wealth is slow. Building a strong body is slow. Learning valuable skills is slow. Healing yourself is slow. Success itself is slow. But dopamine addiction destroys patience. It trains your brain to expect rewards immediately. And when results do not come quickly, people quit. Not because they are incapable, but because their brain can no longer tolerate delayed gratification. Discipline is painful in the beginning, but powerful in the end. Because discipline slowly rebuilds control over your life. Every time you resist distraction, your mind becomes stronger. Every time you choose hard work over entertainment, your self-control improves. Every time you continue despite discomfort, you build mental resilience. This is why disciplined people appear different from everyone else. They are not necessarily smarter, not necessarily more talented, but they have trained themselves to act independently from emotion. They do not wait to feel motivated. They simply do what must be done, even when they are tired, even when they are bored, even when progress feels invisible. And that ability changes everything, because your future is shaped by what you repeatedly do, not by what you occasionally feel. Small habits decide your identity. Daily actions shape your destiny. One workout may seem small. One productive day may seem small. One focused study session may seem small. But repeated consistently over months and years, those actions transform lives completely. This is why discipline creates freedom. Most people think discipline restricts life, but the opposite is true. Lack of discipline creates suffering, poor health, financial stress, anxiety, regret, weak confidence. But disciplined people create stability, strength, focus, peace of mind. Because discipline gives people control over themselves, and once you learn to control yourself, life changes forever. Most people spend their entire life running away from discomfort without realizing that discomfort is the very thing that creates growth. The gym is uncomfortable. Waking up early is uncomfortable. Learning new skills is uncomfortable. Facing failure is uncomfortable. But every powerful transformation in human life begins with discomfort. The problem is, modern society has convinced people that discomfort is something negative, something dangerous. People are constantly told to avoid stress, avoid struggle, avoid pain. But pain itself is not the enemy. Meaningless suffering is the enemy. Growth requires pressure. Discipline requires sacrifice. Mental strength requires resistance. Think about every strong person you admire. Athletes, entrepreneurs, leaders, artists. They all experienced discomfort repeatedly. They all continued when life became difficult. Nobody becomes mentally powerful through comfort. Comfort slowly destroys ambition. The more comfortable your life becomes, the easier it becomes to waste your potential. And that is exactly what happens to most people today. They wake up tired, scroll for hours, consume entertainment, delay important work, promise themselves they will change tomorrow, and then repeat the same cycle again. Days become months, months become years, and eventually, they realize they wasted enormous amounts of time living reactively instead of intentionally. This is why discipline matters so much. Discipline breaks that cycle. Discipline teaches you how to act despite emotion, despite boredom, despite discomfort. And at first, discipline feels painful because your brain is resisting change. Your mind wants easy dopamine. It wants comfort. It wants distraction. But every time you ignore those impulses, you become stronger. Every time you choose effort over entertainment, your identity changes. Slowly, you stop becoming someone controlled by emotion. You stop reacting impulsively to every distraction around you. And for the first time in years, you begin building real self-respect. Because deep inside, human beings know when they are wasting their potential. And nothing destroys confidence faster than constantly betraying yourself. Every broken promise weakens your identity, but every disciplined action rebuilds trust within yourself again. That is why discipline does not only change your habits, it changes the way you see yourself. And once you truly believe you can trust yourself, your entire life begins transforming from the inside out. In today's world, focus has become one of the rarest abilities a person can develop. Most people cannot sit quietly for even a few minutes without reaching for their phone. Their mind constantly searches for stimulation, notifications, videos, messages, entertainment. The modern brain has become addicted to distraction, and because of this, deep focus is disappearing everywhere. People begin 10 different tasks but finish none of them. They work for a few minutes, then check social media. They study for a few minutes, then open another app. Their attention is constantly fragmented. And over time, this destroys the ability to think deeply. But deep thinking is where transformation happens. Every great idea, every meaningful goal, every important achievement requires focused attention. Yet most people never experience real focus anymore because their brain is overstimulated from morning until night. They wake up scrolling, eat while watching videos, work while checking notifications, sleep with their phone beside them. Their nervous system never truly rests. And eventually, mental exhaustion becomes normal. Anxiety increases. Attention span decreases. Emotional control weakens. People begin feeling overwhelmed even by small responsibilities, not because life became impossible, but because distraction has weakened their mind. This is why protecting your attention is one of the most important forms of self-discipline today. You must learn how to sit with boredom again. Because boredom is not the enemy. Boredom resets the brain. Creativity is born in silence. Clarity is born in silence. Self-awareness is born in silence. But most people fear silence because silence forces them to face themselves honestly. Their fears, their insecurities, their regrets. And instead of facing those emotions, they escape into stimulation again. But escape never creates growth. It only delays pain. Real transformation begins when distraction ends. When you finally learn to sit alone with your thoughts, without needing constant entertainment, your mind slowly becomes calm again, focused again, powerful again. And that is when discipline truly starts changing your life. The strongest people in the world are not always the most talented. They are the people who learned how to control themselves when life became difficult. Because real discipline is not about perfection. It is about consistency. It is about continuing even after failure. Most people quit the moment they make mistakes. They miss one workout and give up completely. They waste one day and suddenly return to their old habits again. But disciplined people understand something powerful. One bad day does not destroy progress. Repeated bad decisions destroy progress. This is why rebuilding your life starts with rebuilding your daily actions. Small habits may look insignificant in the moment, but over time, they completely shape your future. Waking up earlier, reading daily, working without distraction, exercising consistently, protecting your focus. These actions seem small when viewed individually, but repeated every day for months and years, they create a completely different person. And slowly, your identity begins changing. You stop seeing yourself as weak. You stop believing you are lazy, because your actions start proving otherwise. Confidence no longer comes from motivation or temporary emotions. It comes from evidence. Evidence that you can trust yourself. Evidence that you can stay disciplined even when life becomes uncomfortable. And that type of confidence is powerful because it cannot be taken away easily. The modern world constantly teaches people to seek comfort, but disciplined people choose growth instead. They understand that temporary discomfort creates long-term freedom, while temporary pleasure often creates long-term regret. This is why self-discipline changes every area of life. Your health improves, your focus improves, your confidence improves, your emotional stability improves. Even your relationships improve because you stop living reactively. You become calmer, more intentional, more aware of your actions. And eventually, people begin noticing something different about you. Not because you became perfect, but because you became consistent. Because consistency itself is rare in modern society. Most people are controlled by mood, controlled by distraction, controlled by impulse. But disciplined people develop something rare: control over themselves. And once a person truly gains control over their own mind, their entire future changes. At the end of the day, discipline is not really about productivity. It is about identity. It is about deciding who you are becoming every single day through your actions. Every choice matters more than most people realize. Every time you choose distraction, you strengthen weakness. Every time you choose discipline, you strengthen power. And slowly, those choices shape your future. The modern world will continue fighting for your attention every second. Social media will continue trying to keep you addicted. Comfort will continue seducing you. Entertainment will continue distracting you from your potential. And most people will continue living reactively without ever questioning the direction of their life. They will continue chasing instant pleasure while their future quietly disappears in front of them. But you still have a choice. You can continue following the same destructive cycle, or you can rebuild control over your mind. Because the truth is, nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is going to magically transform your life for you. Your future depends on the decisions you make daily when nobody's watching. The small moments matter most. The moment you choose to work instead of scroll. The moment you choose discipline instead of comfort. The moment you continue despite boredom, despite pain, despite slow progress. Those moments shape your destiny. Real discipline is built in silence, quiet consistency, repeated effort, daily self-control, and eventually, those small actions create massive transformation. One day you look back and realize your entire life changed because you stopped escaping discomfort. because you finally learned how to control your attention, your emotions, your habits, yourself. And that is what makes discipline so powerful. Discipline does not just change your routine. It changes your identity. It changes the way you think, the way you act, the way you live. Because once you truly master yourself, the world around you can no longer control you so easily. Distraction loses power over you. Temporary pleasure loses power over you. Fear loses power over you. And for the first time in your life, you begin moving with purpose instead of impulse. Calm instead of chaos. Focus instead of distraction. Strength instead of weakness. Most people never reach this point because they quit too early. They expect instant transformation in a world addicted to instant gratification. But real growth has always been slow. Real growth has always required patience. And that is exactly why discipline matters more than ever before. Because in a distracted world, the ability to stay focused becomes a superpower. In a weak world, self-control becomes power. And in a world obsessed with comfort, the people willing to embrace discomfort will always rise above the rest. So the question is not whether discipline is hard. Of course it is hard. The real question is, what happens to your life if you continue avoiding it?